Welcome to Politics Today with your number one unofficial spokesperson of the Obi Dati campaign. Today we have three videos to play for you, and I want you to pay attention to it. So we're going to start right away with a video from Donald Duke. He was an ex-governor of one of the states in Nigeria. So let's listen to what he has to say about our attitude towards voting.
It's a very stupid statement to say that I'm going to vote for someone I know he'll be a disaster, but I think he would win. I mean, are you listening? Are they listening to themselves? Would you do that to your family? I'm going to waste the vote. Is it money? It's people who think that way are stupid and deserve what they get.
So this happens all the time in Nigeria. You know someone is a disaster. You know he has no plan. He can't deliver, but you think he will win. Oh, why do you think that? And then you go and cast your vote for him, but you know he's going to be a disaster. And then when he's a disaster, you end up complaining. Why does that keep happening in Nigeria? So let's look at the second video, right? Let's look at
federal allocation to the states are dropping. I
I'm
want
gonna
them
pause
to
this
drop
for a
even
while,
further so that greedy
and I'm going to
politicians.
just give you a premise because this is the Mr. Common Sense himself. This is what he said during the time that Peter Obi was the governor of Anambra State. So we're going to continue playing this video and listen to what he said about what Anambra did without being a state that has oil in commercial quantity. They don't borrow, they are not in debt, they paid all salaries, and they also gave money to the seniors like they do in the West, in America, in the UK, and in Canada. He did that for the older people that were not working. He didn't owe them, but he gave them money. This is after paying salaries and paying pension and gratuity and building the longest road networks, having the best healthcare, winning awards for these things. He still went over and above and did those things without borrowing. So let's listen.
Politicians will not want to run for office, and only the more credible ones will want to run. A perfect example of my hypothesis is Anambra State. Recently, I urge other states to learn how to diversify and be less reliant on oil, proceeds, and federal allocations. I said despite not having oil in commercial quantity, Anambra State did not seek the federal government bailout, and the state still pays its workers on time. Furthermore, the state has made the best improvement in education because of its massive investments in that sector. After I made this statement, Anambra State further vindicated me by becoming the first and only Nigerian state that exports vegetables to Europe in commercial quantity. Presently, Anambra exports $5 million worth of vegetables to Europe. The profit from that venture goes directly to its own treasury. But the peculiar thing about Anambra is that it has one of the highest population densities in Nigeria and suffers from massive land erosion, leaving it with very little arable farmland. Now, if Anambra, with limited land, is exporting food to Europe, then larger states have no excuse for being dependent on federal government allocation. What is it that Anambra has that other states do not have? They have more land than Anambra. They have more people than Anambra. They have received more from the federal government than Anambra. I will tell you what Anambra has, and Anambra has good leadership. Followers find fault. Leaders find solution, while great leaders find both. Anambra is an example for what can happen if we quit blaming each other and start aiming at solutions. And that is why I want federal allocations to drop so that all states will attract the type of leadership that Anambra currently has. My name is Ben Murray-Bruce, and I just want to make common sense.
All right, Mr. Common Sense was just making common sense right there. We have to make governance less attractive to these people who have nothing to offer, but who only come there to steal, right? I read somewhere they said, I think it was one of the prime ministers of Britain. He said, if the things stolen from Nigeria over the last 3 decades were stolen in the UK will cease to exist. We enthrone and we enable thieves to come into our political space and steal us blind. We can't continue doing that. Otherwise, we won't have any future for our children, right? We won't have any future for our children, and we cannot bequeath them anarchy. We have to be wise this time around. And who better to give us this advice than our ex-president, two-time president, if you were a three-time president, was a military head of state, and then two-time civilians head of state or civilian president, none other than Chief Olusegun Obasanjo. Let's listen to him and this interaction he had, and then we'll come back and just make a few comments.
Recently, a pastor was preaching. I think he was not really preaching, he was talking. And he said to his congregation, I know most of you must have made up your mind who you will vote for. And he said, look, those of you who have made up your mind who you will vote for, I don't want to know who you will vote for, but put up your hands. Almost the whole congregation, including himself, put up his hand. I found it interesting. And he said he wanted to make a prayer. And as I pray, put up your hand, continue to raise your hand, that your children may have the character, the attitude, the attribute, the reputation, the life of the one you have chosen to vote for. Well, hands started coming down. and I said to myself, so here are people who are ready to vote for somebody they don't want their children to be like. Now, what do you say of such people? Wicked to extreme, as far as I'm concerned. Unpatriotic.
Thank you very much.
Many people are really wicked. Many people don't really love their children, nor do they love this country. Because if you watch that video, at some point, the clip that was circulating on social media, at some point, one of the ladies at the back, maybe around 2 minutes and 17 seconds from the clip that I watched, as you watched the video, the woman waved her hand around her head in a secular way, like the Igbos would do that and snap their fingers to say to fear. In other words, evil should be far from us, right? And people in the church were like, this should be far from us, because the pastor said, whoever you vote for, may the characters they have be the characters your children have. And many people would say no, but they want to vote these people to be our leaders. Is it because they were paid? Is it because they belong to the same tribe, the same religion, the same region? What is behind this? We can't have the worst of us be our leaders, because nobody can rise above their head. No one can rise above his head. We need to have the best of us be our leaders, right? We can't just have criminals and thieves lead us. And some people see they're doing punditry, telling us that this person can't win, that person can. Why can't they win? Why? Because they're not going to package Gary in a sachet, package rice in a sachet, and give you 2 sachets of noodles and tell you to vote for them, and that's what you will eat for the next 4 years. Come on, who did this to us, like we say in Nigeria? Who did this to us? Why are we this wicked? Why are we doing this to ourselves? Right? And Obasanjo will summarize this after the person he was talking to, after he has made some comments. Obasanjo will come back and summarize. And I would like him to summarize that, right? If let's just listen to him. Let's listen to him.
And it was very, very very, very inspiring, very, very challenging, and it brought the point home.
I will go back. I will go back to that video that you said you saw. And I will say that if the person you want to vote for, or you have originally decided to vote for, is not the person that you will want your child to be like, then change your mind.
Well, since I couldn't have said it any better, I dare not try to repeat what he just said. You listen to him, right? Listen to Obasanjo. He's a guy who knows. He's been there, he's done that. Listen to him, right? And the only thing I have to add here is like, share, subscribe, comment, and go get your PVC and let's get our nation back.